And we're live.
And we're wearing Nick's blue because they
Nick's
won.
blue. Literally, neither of us are in royal blue.
My nails.
Oh, your nails. Wait, did you do that on purpose?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell everybody I did.
Mine are Funny Bunny, just some white.
I almost got Funny Bunny.
Funny Bunny with the chrome, the transparent chrome.
Loves.
Because we love a little shimmer.
100%.
Okay, people, hello. We're back. The Knicks just won game 2 last night. Let's go, Knicks. New York is on fire right now. The World Cup is about to start.
I'm terrified.
And I'm like, I need to be back in New York. That's all I've been saying all week. I was like, I have to be.
You have to come back.
I know. I'm like, should I go back next week and just go,
Just plop over.
just plop over. Would be lovely. I would. That would be great if I could just come back.
Wait, can we talk about how amazing the episode with Anna was?
Oh my God, it was incredible.
She gives the best advice. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Well, and it was like, what? I've been on 2 dates this week, and I literally was thinking of Anna in the back of my mind of like, okay, we give people a chance. We shouldn't like feel XYZ on the first date. It should be more calm. It should be this, that, whatever.
I went on one.
What?
I went on 1 date this week.
Oh, well, and also that was on what, Tuesday?
That was so unhinged.
Well, and that was like, well, you went on your date, or like you didn't know it was a date.
Yeah, it was very like spontaneous.
Yeah, okay, but that's okay. Wait, tell us.
Okay, so it's New York Tech Week. So this week is literally insane. I had so many events, and I went to a consumer event at Jack's on Bond.
Great love.
I
love that spot.
Ended up going to Bond Street with Rebecca. And then I've been handing out blob cards to people. And I just went up to these 2 guys and I was like, do you use AI? And they were like, yeah, we do. And I was like, let me tell you about blob. And just so happens that one of the guys is who I was on a panel with. And we were like, wait, this is crazy. We started talking. One of their friends ended up like coming up. That was a whole different thing. And then his friend was like, do you want to grab dinner? And I was like, sure. So then we grabbed dinner, and then there was no click.
There was just nothing there, but that's fine.
I know, but it was impromptu. I said yes. And I kept trying to think of like, Anna was like, okay, let's just say yes. Let's put myself out there. Let's ask questions.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? This is just not it. But it's fine.
Not it. Well, you had texted me being like, I think I'm on a date right now. And I was like, what do you mean? And that's when I was at the production shoot for.
Oh, yeah. You were a model this week too.
Guys, I expanded past a hand model. It's a pretty big week for me. I can now put it on my resume. Sick. But yeah, I was there and was talking to this guy and my friend, and you need to meet him. And then he made the comment of like, can you imagine if this was a date, like if I had just put on this entire production shoot just to like ask you out on a date, or like for this to all be a date? And I was like,
you were like, I'm art.
I was like, what? I was like, I mean, honestly, that'd be pretty sick. It'd be awesome. But then his other friend ended up asking me out, but I wasn't interested. But I thought it was friends because he was like, oh, I need more friends in the city. And I was like, 100%, same. Like, so do I. And then he texted me yesterday being like, oh, I thought we vibed. And I'm like, I don't know. I have to answer him and be like, we vibed as friends?
Yeah. Honesty. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like he's upset. Like, we literally just met. Like, it's not going to.
There's savage out there too. So like.
Yeah, totally. I think it's just like, hey, I think I'm like looking more for friend vibe right now, but.
That's good. We love that.
We love that. Yeah, sorry, dating life. Oh, wait. I went on a date last night.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. And I have to tell the sunglasses story.
You have to tell the people we're here. We're sat and we're ready.
I love how we went straight into personal, did not do work at all. But that's okay.
Well, it's because we had Anna dating. We have to, ties all the
Exactly. And also we haven't talked about our dating in a bit.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really been going on dates.
No, we've been
strictly business for the past few weeks.
We have.
Yeah. So good for us. But now we get to have a little bit of fun. So I went on a date last night, guys. And the guy has sunglasses on. We meet outside the restaurant. It was just kind of like a little bit of a shit show, I think, in general. The guy didn't realize that where he invited me to was a like very expensive, nice restaurant. He thought it was a bar. So when they sat us down, he was like, wait, this is a restaurant? And I was like, did you look it up? Like, I'm so confused. And I was like, we don't have to stay here. We can leave. And he was like, "No, no, no, like, we're here, let's have sake, like, let's fine, whatever." And then whatever, it's fine. I'm like, I'm not even gonna get into the other stuff because it was like, what anyway. He's wearing sunglasses the whole time. And I'm like, okay, yes, we're sitting outside at this restaurant, but like it's 8:30, like there's no reason for sunglasses.
It's
So I make a
dinner.
comment. It's dinner. And I'm like, I make a comment of, oh, well, I can't really see your eyes. So like I don't really know your expression. And he takes them off and he's like, sorry, I'm just blind without them. And I was like, oh, really? So here I am thinking that they're transition like glasses. And I'm like, that's weird though. It's not bright enough in here. And Nat has reminded me multiple times they're activated by UV, not light.
Yes,
And
right.
so I was like, okay, just confused as a whole. And then realize whatever, we have the entire, he like keeps putting them on and off, but most of the time he has the sunglasses on. We go to the speakeasy right next door afterwards to check it out. We got one drink there. He has his sunglasses off the entire time in the speakeasy because it's super dark in there. And so I make a comment of like, oh, wait, let me try on your glasses. I want to see how blind you are. Like if he's saying, oh, I'm so blind without them, I want to see how blind you are. And I always do this. Like it wasn't like pointed. I do this to like a bunch of people. I've done it to my parents. I'm like, I want to see what it looks like. I put them on and I'm like, wait, these have no prescription. I'm like, I'm literally seeing exactly the same. And I was like, are these fake? And he goes, I mean, they're sunglasses. And I was like, right, but they're not glasses.
Oh, these men.
And then he goes, I just thought I looked cool with them. And I was like, you look like an idiot when you're at dinner on a date with sunglasses on.
That's wild.
And then he called it aura farming. He was like, I'm aura farming.
What is that?
It's like what the Gen Z kids say. I was
All
like,
these
I'm
farms,
so
I'm like,
confused.
aura farming?
No,
I
it
think
was
it's
so
an
bad.
aura ring and a farm. That's all I think
It was
about.
so bad. But we're supposed to go for a run tomorrow.
He'll have glasses on too, don't worry. Maybe
My
you should
mom,
bring
my mom was like, this either means he's really weird or like, she's like, we could potentially see past it and just like make a lot of fun of it. And I was like, right, right. So I don't know. Jury's still out. We're going to see. Jury's still out.
Wait, I love this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
proud
So
for us for putting ourselves out there.
this is what happens when we put ourselves out there. We put ourselves out there and then we're on dates with these guys that are so weird.
Yeah. Well, the guy, like when I was eating dinner with this guy, also he took me to St. Mark's and I was a little savage. I said, um, how old are you? Are you like 24? This is not an age appropriate place. He goes, I'm 34. And I go, okay. Yeah.
You're like, uh-huh. You're like,
And I
so why
felt
are we here?
I know. I mean, the food was good, but, like, then he got up to go to the bathroom, and there was these 2 people at the table next to us, this girl and this guy, and they, like, leaned over immediately, and they were like it's, like, this gay guy, and he was like, "Girl, I just don't see this working out." And I go, "Well" they're like, "We were listening into the whole thing." And I was like, "Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page." And I go, "Maybe we'll just be friends."
I love New York for that, where people
Yeah.
are like, I have to say something.
Of
Like,
course,
I have to
I'm
tell
that
you.
person too. Whenever I'm out, I'm that person that will say something.
Or it's like, I don't see this working out. Like, let's not waste your time here.
I know.
Oh, wow. Well,
Uh,
good for us. Proud of us.
I know. We're making moves.
We're making moves. We're making moves. Okay, work-wise, how are we
Well,
doing? Wait,
this
tell us about Tech Week.
Tech Week was insane. So, I was very
What is Tech
intentional.
Week? I guess for the people that don't know what it is, what is Tech
Yes.
Week?
So, New York Tech Week, there's Tech Weeks all over. There's a bunch of events predominantly around the tech industry. A lot of people fly in. I think New York probably has one of, like, the largest
Yeah.
ones. But it's turned into, like, a bigger thing, and it's not just tech-focused companies. There's also, like, consumer events, one that I, like, co-hosted this week. We'll get into that, but it's just a bunch of events, like, anywhere from run clubs to coffee meetups to, like, panels to live podcast recordings, education. I was trying to be a lot of mixers, obviously, boat parties. I was trying to be very intentional this week about which events to go to because it can get very overwhelming. There's
Right.
easily around like over 350 events. It was New York Tech Week, Latino Tech Week, and
Yep.
Hamptons Tech Week. So a lot. And like, yeah, there was a lot happening. And
I feel like
so
planning could have been better.
the Latino Tech Week was honestly like intertwined with New York Tech Week.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So that made sense, but I wanted to be intentional because it could get very overwhelming. And I also needed
Right.
to make sure I was like focused during the day to do stuff. And aside from that, there's a lot of people in town. So I made it like a point to do the dinners where people were in town, like actual meetings, like things like
Yeah.
that, more so than just going to an event. I spoke on a panel too, but I co-hosted an event with the fabulous Kelly Arena and Annie Evans, and
Love.
Kelly Bennett, who's amazing. She has a podcast called Emerging Brands, very heavily in like the consumer space. It was Kelly interviewing Kelly Arena and Annie more on the investor side of what is happening on the investor side, what's going on in the consumer space. And then we had a couple brands do like a little demo of their products, which was also really great. I met
Ooh.
a lot of really interesting people as well as reconnected with founders. That was like, I think, a very successful event, not gonna lie. And I honestly thought of that event literally 2 days before
Love.
the tech week submission. And then I
Love.
called Kelly and I was like, this is like what we're thinking. She was like, I would love to do it. She's like, sign me up. And I go, okay, let me talk to Kelly and Annie because they have no idea we're doing this. So let me make sure that's okay.
Like, perfect, perfect, perfect.
Yeah. So that was one. And then I spoke on a panel. So the Mexican consul had an event focused on just like investment. So there was like a couple funds that were on the panel.
Mhm.
And then I spoke on behalf of my family's family office. And it was basically kind of speaking of the investment climate in Latin America and kind of things that we see and things that we would want to improve and kind of vocalize what's going on and companies that we invest in all over Latin America, but also like predominantly like Mexico.
Right, right. That's amazing. You had a very busy week.
Yeah. And then I went to a family office dinner.
Mm.
That was great. So I brought a family friend who's in town. He works at a fund. He's based out of Brazil. So he got to meet a lot of people. That dinner though, I sat next to these two guys. And they're both in like the investment space. The Knicks were playing that night. They were like, we're gonna go watch the game. And I was like, where are you going? And they go, we're going to due west. Do you want to come? And I said, sure. Let me get in a car with strangers.
You're like, "They're saying due west," and all of a sudden we're going out of the city, and I don't know where we are, and we're in Jersey.
No. That would've been terrifying. No, but we went and watched the next game, met some of their friends. The girls were great. They loved the pod, which was
Oh my god,
nice.
love, 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 love.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
And that was practically it.
Oh my god, wow, you've had a big week.
No, insane.
I'm sad that I didn't make it to New York Tech Week, but I feel like I needed to just, like, buckle down and do the stuff that needed to get done this week. I've been
Yeah.
really focused on guys, we got rejected from the App Store again, for really what I would consider dumb reasons, but I'm sure the App Store does not consider them dumb, so I get it. I think at the end of the day, they're just trying to protect us, but all good. We already made all of the changes yesterday. I was testing it late last night. I texted Sarania this morning, so we'll see if we can resubmit either today or tomorrow and just get that out of the way and like email them and say, hey, we resubmitted, let us know. Um, so crossing my fingers, I've also been way more aggressive with my emails of like, hey, how are you doing? Let us know if you need anything, which tends to work. So
Of
that's
course.
been nice. What?
I said, of course. I think like the communication part of it is like driving that and pushing that is what is gonna make it.
Totally, totally. And so I've been focused on that. I've been focused on really getting our list of med spas, like initial med spas that we want to reach out to ready, especially since we have the med spa portal ready to
Yeah.
go. I want to be able to like, we have a very basic version of it. I want to be able to show med spas and also understand like, where are you currently? What are you struggling with? And how can we then help with that?
Yeah.
Um,
If you're
so
listening, if you have any med spa recs, send them over to Vanessa.
Exactly. Well, and it's really cool of thinking of how to partner with med spas
Mhm.
where we're not only doing this B2C revenue, but also this B2B and be
Yeah.
able to provide a solution for them of like, hey, your clients go in between sessions and yes, they're telling you when they come back how their skin is doing, but half the time people forget. They could actually show their esthetician how their skin is doing on vein and prep for those visits by already sending it to them beforehand.
That's amazing. I also think that that's such a strategic angle because I feel like a lot of people that go to med spas at the end of their treatment, they're like already booking another
Totally.
session or something else that I feel like that in between of like their first visit or like that visit to the next, this will like bridge that gap.
Totally, totally. So I'm really excited about that. I think it'll be great. And also like focusing not on the huge med spas, but the med spas that have 2 locations, maybe max 5, like
Yeah.
that's really where we want to start with and understand of what their pain points are and how we can further build out the portal for them. So yeah, that's what I've been focusing on this week. And then a lot of content. I feel like I'm a content creator this week. We
Oh
have
yeah.
been I have 4 different content calendars. Literally 1 for Vane, 1 for No Hard Lines, 1 for my personal Instagram, and 1 for my personal TikTok.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna do daily videos this week, and you
No,
know what? No.
no one talks about how hard it is to be a content creator and, like,
Yes.
also to be building something and be a content creator at the same time.
Yeah, so my friend Piper, I went to that Gamma event,
Oh, yeah.
I helped her do content, and it was a bunch of creators, and I was talking to her, she had to interview people about their growing pains, either professionally or, like, personal, because she just launched a single called Growing Pains, so Gamma wanted to tie in her song, which I thought that was really cute, but I was talking to all these creators, and they were like, "Yeah, no, honestly, like, it's hard." A lot of them have a full-time job, or they're trying to figure out how to balance everything, so it was interesting to kinda get into that world and see it from a different perspective, and a lot of them are like, "Yeah, I mean, I post and I do all this stuff, but, like, there's so much behind the scenes that people don't talk about." Also, some that are repped by agents versus some that are just, like, themselves repping them, like, repping themselves or whatever,
Yeah.
but that is a whole different world.
It's crazy, and I mean, we got to see a little bit by talking to Zizi the other week,
Yeah,
but and, like, she definitely has had it or got it figured out, which is
yeah,
great, but I'm so in the beginning stages of it where I'm trying to figure it out of, like, okay, what is my system? So, like,
yeah,
yesterday, I batch content yesterday of like, I knew what my calendar was for the upcoming week. I was like, all right, let me just get all this content out the way. And then the editing is what takes a while. So, like, then it took
yeah,
me a little bit to edit what I posted this morning, which I scheduled it last night to post this morning. So I didn't have to think about it. What I want to spend my weekends on is like editing that content and scheduling it for the week. So I don't have to think about it during the week.
yeah, that's smart,
Like,
honestly.
that's what I kinda wanna be able to do so that during the week, I can actually focus on Vane or my consulting projects and not have to worry about the content.
Yeah, I think that's smart. That's something I need to, like, sit down and do. Cause
It
like,
took me a bit.
yeah, I think I just need to get organized in that sector. Cause I do, like, record a lot of stuff. I think
Yeah.
it's a matter of, like, figuring out and structuring it better instead
Mm,
of just trying to blast content, you know? Be a little bit
totally,
more intentional.
totally. Like, even yesterday when I was editing, it was really interesting of some of the voiceovers that I was doing, right? Like, the video that I did was in between straight direct to camera and then some voiceover. And in the voiceovers, I obviously have to have different clips. And
Mhm.
looking through my phone, through my, like, album, my photo album of, like, okay, what are the clips that I've taken? I was really thankful that I had taken content, even though I
Yeah,
hadn't posted it. I was like, okay, these are the moments that I'm happy, like, this is why I'm recording when I do, even if it's not being used until months later. So, like,
yeah,
also give yourself some grace about that.
yeah, no, that's a good point because I wanna be better about posting more on Instagram. I feel like I have
Mhm.
this, like, weird barrier where I'm like, TikTok, I'll, like, whip
Yes.
something up and post versus Instagram, I'm like, "Ooh, it's a little bit more personal." And I'm like, at the end of the day, who cares? But I'll post stories. It's just I think I just need to get over that hump, and I think it's all about structuring things better.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I have the same issue too, where on TikTok, I don't care because in my head, I'm like, no one's going to see this. And then a ton of people see it. But on Instagram, I'm like, oh, my whole family sees this. Everyone that I've ever met in my life usually like is following me on Instagram in one way, shape, or form. They're going to see this. What are they going to think? Am I going to be embarrassed? I definitely am embarrassed a little bit, but I think it's like what they call climbing cringe mountain. And it's like
Yeah,
cringe, cringe, cringe until it's not.
that's
And
true.
so I just need to continue climbing cringe mountain. And like the one this morning, you wanna know what I've done? I also hide the number of likes because like also for me, so I don't see how many people have liked it. But also like it kind of makes me feel a little bit less embarrassed where it's like, yes, I just posted this like video of myself that's a little cringy, but now no one needs to know how many people have liked it or not liked it. Like, which is great.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know?
No, I
Makes me
agree.
feel a little better.
No, yeah. Um, our website is live.
Yes, guys, our website's live.
I
Nat
know
did an incredible
Claude.
job. Yes, Nat now know oh my god. Nat now knows whoa, say that 3 times fast.
Oh, that's crazy.
Sorry, Nat, do you wanna tell them about Claude?
I would love to. I'm not an expert. However, I'm very grateful Tessa sat down with me and explained everything because I felt like a lost person in the sea of AI. I didn't know anything. I was so dramatic, but
No,
literally
no.
no, I actually didn't know anything. And here's something that I'm also working on, but we'll get into that. So I sat down with Tess. She went through everything and she was like, why don't you treat like what I'm going to teach you, like your first project, the website for No Hard Lines? And I was like, great. So then I started building it out on Claude Design and then I transferred it to Versal. We bought the domain, Vanessa and I. So I was like, okay, we can make it go live. I'm still learning. And I think that's where Tessa's been very helpful because she's been teaching me not only how to work with Claude, how to use it, how to be more effective with it, but at the same time, I think it's the education part that I was like, I'm going to all these AI events and things like that. I was like, even feel lost because I feel like a lot of stuff is copy and paste or
Mhm.
like building your agent, for example. I was like, I don't even know where to start. And she's like, it's not that hard, you know? She's like, it's all about the education. And I was like, well, I feel like I'm going to these events and they're telling me to copy and paste, but I don't know how to, like, what I'm actually doing. Yeah, I'm copying and
Right.
pasting it. And so
You're
then
that
that's
me.
yeah, that's a project her and I are working on where it's to provide education in the AI space. So we're putting on 2 events coming up on how to build your agent. Because in my head, from what I was seeing, it was like people saying, like, let me teach you how to build your chief of staff, or let me teach
Right.
you how to build your marketing agent. Versus when I actually got educated on stuff with Tessa, she's like, you only need to understand how to build a agent, and then it's a plug and play for whatever one
You
you
want
want.
it for.
You don't need one. You don't need to go somewhere to teach you how to do one. You just have to learn how to make an agent. So we're working on a series, an AI series to provide education and actually educate people on, okay, well, Claude, you should be using it for this. Chat, you should be using it for this. And
Right.
then obviously there's Blob where it's more of like your personal stuff because it's
Yeah.
encrypted. And then also teaching people how to just build an agent so then anybody could then build one, you know? Which is exciting. We launched, it's called the Agent Atelier.
I
She was
love.
able to whip up that website in no time, but also expert.
Yeah. She's expert level. So
No,
you
she's
gotta give yourself some grace. You're
and
learning.
then she plugged me in with one of the agents that she built. So I've been talking to the agent, and for Tech Week, it was a game changer because at all these events, I would just text the agent and be like, at Gucci, blah, 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 blah. And then it would send me a reminder or it would directly send it into our Notion board.
I love that.
And I was like, wow, this is insane. This is a
I need
whole
to
new
build that.
world.
I need to build that. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. So we have 2 events coming up, one on the 18th and then one on the 25th.
I'd love.
Yeah.
How many people are allowed at the events?
We want like curated groups. So
Mhm.
we're going to probably do anywhere from 20, like 30 maybe, but like very small. So it's more
Aw.
hands on. So then as she's teaching people how to build the agent, she can have the capacity to do questions or whatever and
Right.
like actually walk people through. Because some events, when there's like hundreds of people, it's like, are you really learning? Or are you just
No.
kind of like plug and
Yeah.
play of copy and
Yeah.
paste? It's so yeah, it's very intentional, but I think there's a huge gap between what actually people are doing with AI and the education behind it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
There's all this
I
marketing
love
stuff
this.
too that's like, "You're how to make $1,000,000 doing X, Y, and Z," and I'm like, "What?"
Like, sorry, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
I think
fun
that
fact, sorry to interrupt, fun
no, no,
fact,
don't.
I learned this at a conversation yesterday. There's a lot of fluff where, people that are posting these videos on Instagram where it's like, "DM me and I'll send you, like,
Yes.
the copy and paste." A lot of them have been people have been encrypting them or not they've been, like, putting stuff in in, like,
The prompt?
the prompt where then it could be a form of hacking things. Yeah, it's scary out there, and I think people aren't realizing, like, the danger behind just, like, not getting educated properly behind AI.
Yeah. There's definitely the pros and cons of it. Definitely. And I would say there's more pros than cons, but just like anything, there's cons and you have to kind of be aware and build your own rules and regulations in your life of like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I not?
100%.
I love it. But the site looks amazing. Guys, Nat worked really hard on it. It looks so, so good. At one point, the no hard line, like the no of no hard lines was all over my face. And it literally looked like, think like very high school, where it's like 2 girls, because the pictures are sick. We did an entire photo shoot. The pictures are really cool. And 2 girls next to each other, and then one of them looks, like, perfect, and then the other one just has, like, all the, like, lettering over her face. That was what happened, and I was like, "Nat, do you hate me?" I was like,
I was
"What?"
like, I don't know. I was like, "Help." There's stuff that we're for sure still tweaking,
Yes.
but yeah,
I
no,
thought it was so funny, though. I
it
was like,
was
"This
yeah.
looks so high school, like, "Hate her," gonna put "no" all over her face.
No, but it honestly worked out because the site went live, like the first version, and then I had to make a couple tweaks,
Yeah,
right before the event that we had with Kelly and Annie, so I was able to show them, which was nice.
yeah, and we've been getting a lot of really good feedback on it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still stuff that I wanna change and things, but we want the site to be a place where you could go and see all of the episodes where we have, like, our guests and then when we have our solo ones, but also, like, resources that both Vanessa and I use, and then
Yep,
also, like, hyping up the founders that are on the pod, you know?
yep, and we've even created some guides, some really basic
Yeah.
guides for you guys on the website itself of, like, whether it has to do with building your brand or how to actually start to get partnerships, like, Nat built that out of the partnership side, and I think it really can be helpful as just, like, an additional tool in your pocket, and then if you need to talk more, you can set up time with either one of us.
Yeah.
So, that's all available on the site.
No
Super
hard
fun.
lines. Doc
Nohardlines.com.
Yeah.
This week, I actually got out of the house more than I usually do, which was nice. I let's see. I was at Starbucks, I think, all day on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, I was in my sister's apartment. Or no, that was Tuesday. Tuesday, I went to my sister's apartment. So Monday, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I went to Starbucks, and then I was at my sister's apartment, and then I was at a
It's
coffee
hard
shop near
to
my sister's apartment. And I think it just, like, helps me get out of the house, helps me, like, really focus and feel like I'm around other people who are also doing work, because when I'm just home all the time, I think mentally it can be challenging where it's hard to separate between work and life.
like, at least for me, I get a lot of creative flow being around people. And I think that's been something that I've
Mhm.
been noticing more.
Literally.
And I was actually talking to my therapist about this because she's like, I think you need to schedule like dates, like depending on your calls and stuff, like
Mm.
where maybe 2 or 3 times a week you're working from or like a coffee shop. And I was like, actually, I've never really thought of it that way because in my head, I'm like, well, if I'm going to work from somewhere, I'm also going to be spending, right? It's like, what could be easier? She's like, I get that, but there's ways where it does help you and it doesn't make it as lonely.
It's a game changer. I think I feel 10
Yeah.
times more productive, I feel more inspired.
And I think that burnout is a big topic in the startup community, and it was glamorized, and it is always glamorized, but at the end of the day, it's like we should be taking care of ourselves. And yeah, there's no balance in terms of what you're building and what you're working on and everything personally. But at the same time, it's like, what are the things that fuel you? So then you could be
Mhm.
your best version as a founder, as an investor, just as a person in general. So I think those are like really good
Right.
points that I was like, huh, that it does make sense. And like looking at the way my family has invested in companies, it's like we always look at the founders because at the end of the day, like, and this is a big thing, it's like we look at the founders that are willing to like
Right.
hustle, but at the same time that are could easily want to pivot because companies that a founder that started now, the company should evolve. And so that means there should be change. Like think about how many pivots you've had with Bain.
Literally, that's what I posted this morning about our pivots. It makes so much sense, and I think as founders, you get so deep in your own headspace and in your own hole that it's like you have to be able to separate yourself a bit from the business and be able to say, "Okay, is this actually a good idea or not? Should I continue moving forward, or do we need to change something?" And when you get too attached to what you're building, it's hard, to your point, it's hard to make that pivot. Yeah, I agree. No, I couldn't agree more. I think it's really healthy, and I think there's a huge trend happening right now in the startup space. Just saw a
Yeah.
LinkedIn post about it that was like, um, it was originally this guy who posted it like, "Oh, I know about the startup that works 7 days a week and they are nonstop and blah, 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 blah. And then this other guy reposted it and was like, this is the problem with the startup world right now. Like hustle culture is great until it's not and you get burnt out and then no one wins. So like, how do we find, I'm really appreciative that I think we're in the startup space now versus like
Yeah,
2019,
exactly. Like on the
2018.
investor side, if the founder's winning, the investors are winning, right? And if the founder burns out and can't work or can't run the company, then that's a huge issue, right? So I think thinking about it as like culturally for the startup scene, it's massive because things need to change. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, take 5 days off and like forget the business. No, it's like
Exactly.
implement a toolkit, you know? That says a lot about a founder because
Mhm.
then as you grow your team,
They'll be there.
that's the energy that you're bringing down. So then people feel like, okay, I'm taken care of and I actually want to show up and I actually want to work versus I'm
100%.
here, I'm a robot, I'm kind of going through the motions. I don't really care.
Right, right. Totally, totally. But I'm happy that we're doing that for ourselves, and I think also it always starts from the top up, like, culture starts from the top up, and so or from the top down, sorry. And so, like, if your leaders are not replicating that and not modeling the type of culture that they want, then it's just not gonna trickle down to the rest of the organization. And so to me, it's I'm proud of us that we're doing that and sticking to it because I think it's really easy to kind of veer away from it versus and that we're building teams that also are living that.
And then also on like just bringing good mentors to those founders where it's like, hey, how's it going? Like, for example, you got rejected from the app store. What can
Not
I
great.
do to help? Who can we call? You know, or okay, let's try again. And I think you're being so great with communication because if you're just like, I'll
100%.
wait and see what happens, like they'll get busy and like it's not a thing. So I think it's just being around those people and not being afraid to give your asks and also see what you could do to help others.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's also funny, I'm like I didn't know whether or not to post yesterday about getting rejected from the App Store, and I was like, "You know what? I'm trying to work on, like, vulnerability and also, like, building in public, and this is part of it." Like, the downsides are part of it, and I need to be a little bit more open about that, and I actually got a guy we had gone on one date, and we, like, kind of knew each other in high school and, like, have a lot of friends in common. He literally responded to my story because he's also a founder and just, like, gave such good advice, and I was like, "Oh my god, look at you, like, thank you." And he was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that, like, you're good and, like, I've been in that headspace before, like, don't get too hard. Don't get too down on yourself." And I'm like, "Thank you." So, I think and then I had a bunch of people being like, "I'm so frustrated for you, like, it's gonna work out, like, just keep going." And that's where I was like, "This is why I share the vulnerable parts. Like, this is why I talk about it." Because when you're vulnerable with other people, I think you'd be surprised how many people resonate with that.
Yeah, because I ran into a couple founders from Dream Ventures at an event 2 nights ago. Um, and they're like, "We're in the tech scene, and, like, it's a lot, but it's hard to be going to all these events, and then it's, like,
Oh,
predominantly men and, like, just a different vibe." And I was like, "You should reach out to Vanessa. She has this group where they meet once a month, right? Once a month. And basically, it's just women in tech talking about what they're going through and how they can help each other." And I feel like that needs to happen more because it's not a competition, you know? And I feel like that mindset
yeah.
is needs
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
change and it has to be like, how can we all help? Obviously, like if you have a competitor or something, like that's a thing. But at the same
Mhm.
time, like you're building your own product, you
Totally,
know?
totally.
And it's there is. Like, I got that advice, like, at Expo West a couple years back. This lady came up to me and was like, "How many people have asked you, like, there's
Different.
so many protein
Yeah.
bars out there, like, what makes you different?" And I was like, "Honestly, like, so many
Well,
people."
and there's enough
And she's
space for
like,
everyone.
"Okay, when you go in a grocery store and you walk through the bread aisle, how many breads are there? Walk through the water aisle, how many are there? But there's always gonna be one that stands out for a specific person because they're building it right for that demographic." And I think that
How many
shifted
are
my
there?
mindset a bunch, and I was like, "You know what? You are right. We do have customers, and they're coming back, and they're people that want the product, so that's why we're building. I'm not building to be like this other brand.
100%.
I'm building to be
Totally.
my brand, you know?" Yeah, that was so good. I literally cried that day. I was like then I went into the grocery store and I was like, "There's so much bread."
I love that was so good, Nat.
So much.
I love it. That's so good, but it's so true. I mean, even think about, like, how many brands of chips Frito-Lay has, and, like, they make sure to not cannibalize each other, but, like, they literally have so many forms of chips because, like, everyone wants something different. Like, I love Funyuns, and people think I'm weird for it, and you know what? I stand on my belief of loving Funyuns
No,
and that they're
yeah.
one of the best chips out there.
Yeah. Also, it's like a mind that you just have to it all goes back to your mindset, and I think those are the toolkits founders need to build and focus on, so then it could fuel back into the business. Yeah, that was good.
I agree,
Yeah.
I agree. Wow, what a great way to end this. Look at us.
Don't forget to follow us on social.
And this was an awesome episode. I feel really good about it. Check out our website, reach out to us if you want to talk more. Follow us on socials and follow us on Spotify. All right, bye guys.